Greetings commanders and welcome back to another Warpath video. My name is Eagle, and in this video we're going to give you the top 3 officers for artillery units in Warpath. In artillery units, when it comes to these, we mean howitzers and as well anti-tank guns. However, anti-tank guns are going to be soon reworked, and when that rework actually happens, we're going to see what happens with that rework. Also, just a quick reminder that this video is up before the new artillery officer is actually released, which is Liberty. So once that officer actually releases, this kind of top 3 might kind of change. However, for now, the current meta, when this video is actually released, is these top 3 officers. And we're going to start off from number 3 all the way to number 1, which is the top officer. Start off with number 3, we have Antonia Shevchenko over here, or I like to call her Antonia. She's Antonina Shevchenko. But yeah, so this officer over here has been for a while in the game, and it's one of the legacy officers. And to be fairly honest with you guys, she still holds the 3rd rank over here. She's a very solid officer with a very high damage coefficient, considering all the facts that are right now there are some insanely damage coefficients out there. But she also adds 25% extra damage to the skill. In addition to that, she has a damage buff and a firepower buff, which is also very good and something to actually notice. And in addition to that, she has a skill damage buff. She's all about damage and skills and dealing massive amounts of damage as well. In addition to that, she increases the firepower by 1 map grid, which is up to 5 map grids in total when you actually awaken her. Now, this officer over here overall works really well with other artillery officers, because especially when we are talking about this one over here, which is Saber of the Nation, because he scales up depending on how much map grids are between him and the enemy. However, there is a new officer that was just released that's actually a little bit better than Shevchenko. Not just massive difference, but just a little bit better, which is Eye of Providence. Now, this officer over here excels at siege, and he's actually really well, does well. So most of the artilleries, you're going to be using them for siege and not for field fighting, because tanks kind of dominate the field at this point in time. So over here, we have a more damage coefficient, which is 1500. In addition to that, you have 15 or 25% additional damage. And also, he reduces the prep time by 12.5% for skills, which is actually very important. And in addition to that, he has a little bit higher damage buff, which is 32, and he also has a 40% firepower buff, which is massive over here. But he also has a 10% more firepower than the 40%, so that could go up to 50% if you're fighting outside your territory, which is most likely going to happen if you're kind of battling enemy bases in the conquest. You're always going to be fighting outside your territory, so that's going to be 50% over here firepower, which is massive. In addition to that, this officer over here deals an additional 40% skill damage if you are fighting enemy bases like base to base or something like that. This officer excels at siege, and he is one of the top officers at siege when it comes to artillery units out there. So if you're looking to base enemies, and this is what your this is like kind of your play style, then this is one of the officers that you should focus on in the next period. And of course, at the top of the mountain, the peak over here, is Saber of the Nation. This officer is massive, and that's why he's a premium officer. He's only unlocked through the exclusive lounge. And this officer does 1200 damage coefficient, but also it increases by 1 for each map grid. So if it's 5 map grids, which is the maximum, it can go up to 1700 damage coefficient. On a normal beast, it's 1600, which is still massive. And in addition to that, he does have some damage resistance buff, which is 15%. Not a big fan over here. 20% damage buff, and then 30% extra damage buff if your troops are below, or 2 troops who are below actually 50%. Now, when you max him out, this is basically where this officer excels. Now, all these are kind of bullshit over here, to be fairly honest with you guys. This one and this one are the ones that are actually going to make it so insane. So there's a 30% chance where you can actually reactivate this skill over here. So that means that there's a massive chance where you can actually reactivate the skill. And sometimes, I kid you not, guys, this guy has ruined so much time of my testing. When I'm testing any officers, this skill over here just fires up like 3 times in a row, and it just makes it insane to actually test anything at this point, because when this skill fires up so much, he's just completely destroying any unit in front of them, and that is just making there's no room for testing in this area, and this is why this officer over here is super strong. However, he definitely requires awakening in order to unlock his full potential and actually use him in combat, pretty much. So that's why it's highly recommended to actually awaken this officer if you're gonna go and actually play him. Go all the way or don't go at all. This kind of officer over here, because before awakening he's not the strongest, to be fairly honest. So I hope this was comprehensive enough for you guys, and I hope you did like it. If you have any other ideas or a top 3 of your own, please make sure to leave that in the comments below. I would love to hear your top 3, and tell us also why you think these top 3 are the best in your opinion as well. And make sure, if you did like this video, to hit that like button down there and consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll definitely see you on the next one. Bye bye.